Do you want to stream from your Xbox to Twitch, Kick, YouTube, or even TikTok, even below 1,000 subscribers, without a capture card? So did I. So I went on a journey to test the two integrated options, LightStream and StreamLabs. And in this video, I'll tell you what one's best, where they fall short, and some helpful tips to resolve streaming issues. Before I start, I think it's best to make it clear that I do this as a hobby, and I am in no way affiliated or sponsored by either product. My opinions are my own, and so take it as such. But this is going to be an authentic review, warts and all. With that out of the way, first up, it's LightStream. I started with this one first, and to be clear, I had never streamed before. But I found their service to be easy to use, simple enough to log in, and simple enough to add Kick. Twitch is there by default. What went well with LightStream is that it's stable, amazingly so. I never had streams fail to start, audio always came through, and scenes always worked with all sources appearing. Sources being things like the game capture, images, goals, etc. Their built-in overlays are pretty slick too, supporting MP4s, the ability to embed other sources like Social Stream Ninja URLs and Twitch elements. It really is slick. All the sources you need are there: goal, banners, images, videos, and more. One of the selling points is the ability for third-party integrations with other services like Stream Elements, Sound Alerts, and even StreamLabs. It's a much more extensible platform that you can do more with. Now for the bad bits. This is a minor one, and seems to affect StreamLabs too. But for some reason, the stream name does not pass through to Kick. I suspect this is a limitation on Kick's end, rather than both LightStream and StreamLabs, but it is annoying. Next is the resolution. 1080p at 30 frames per second cannot compete with OBS, so tearing does occur. It's not awful, but it's not great either. 1080p at 60 frames per second should be possible these days. Now the next two are biggies. Not being able to stream in vertical rules out a lot of options, and really should be possible given the myriad of vertical-only destinations, TikTok being one. The next big one is the lack of TikTok integration. If you're lucky enough to have a stream key from TikTok, then you can add custom RTMP destinations. But if not, then tough luck, kittens. No milk for you. That leads us nicely onto the competition. The competition being StreamLabs. I'll first start with the bad. As for me, there was quite a lot. Firstly is reliability. Time and again, I will get the error message. Your live stream stopped working. Try restarting it. This could happen 2, 3, 4 times, sometimes more. In the end, I had to stop auto-publishing in Twitch as it was filling with junky short videos. It's more reliable when you don't select a particular destination for your stream, but I'll get onto that later. Next is the lack of sources. No video support, so scenes are less slick and attractive. No goals either, not even their native ones, which I just can't wrap my head around. Now, with that one, I tried several workarounds. I tried a custom widget and used an iframe to pull in a goal from Stream Elements, but they block iframes, so that was no good. Then, I manually created a goal using basic HTML and CSS in their custom widget, which rendered in the design interface fine, but was not allowed when saving the scene. In the end, I used the same HTML code, saved it locally, and then exported it as a backgroundless image that I could then use in the design. It's ridiculous that I need to do so, and there might be a better solution out there, but I haven't found one yet. Next, the overlays are okay, but due to the previous issues mentioned, these are not as slick as the LightStream ones, so I ended up using one just for the border. Next up in the long list of things wrong with LightStream was missing sources on the vertical layout. In the designer, you can toggle on, off, whether you want a source in horizontal, vertical, or both layouts. Now, for some reason, on certain images, but not all, if I toggle just the vertical on, they don't appear in the stream. In the designer was fine, but it was not appearing in the stream. So to resolve this, I have to toggle it on both the horizontal and the vertical, and then find a home for an image that I might not actually want in the horizontal layout. Only then would it work in the vertical layout. Hope that helps someone else suffering from such issues. In a similar fashion, if you have any sources larger than the vertical layout, then they too would not appear in the stream. For example, an image that you need to zoom to make fit, or if you wanted to zoom your game capture, taking it past the vertical outlines. So, if that happens, try to keep within the vertical boundaries. Next, like LightStream, is the quality. Now, although both allow a maximum of 1080p at 30 frames per second, I could still use 6000 kilobits per second at 1080p on the Xbox when streaming to LightStream. But that was causing issues with StreamLabs, so I had to drop that down to 4000 kilobits per second, as per their recommendation. Next, when streaming to TikTok, for reasons only known to TikTok, their API can block you from streaming. No reason, no appeal. Instead, you have to reapply and then either get access, or you might have to wait 7 days and try again. Now, this hasn't happened of late, but was awfully common when I first started. Fingers crossed this video doesn't get me banned. The banning issue is not a failure on StreamLabs' part, but if their USP compared to LightStream is TikTok support, then it renders this a less attractive option. The next issue was once I had no sound coming through, but that affected TikTok, Twitch, and Kick. A reboot of the Xbox resolved that issue, so that might have been an issue with the Xbox instead of StreamLabs. Lastly, just this morning, my game capture would not stream to TikTok, but it was fine to Twitch and Kick. Everything else streamed fine to TikTok, all the overlays and sources, just not the game capture, which is kind of the point of the whole exercise. I disabled the TikTok destination and started to stream to just Kick and Twitch, and, would you believe it, the stream worked first time. No error message telling me to restart the stream, so I suspect a lot of the issues are all linked to TikTok as a destination. Now, believe it or not, there are some good points. So let's start with the best one, TikTok. So for now, let's assume I have less than 1,000 followers. I don't belong to an agency, but still want to stream to it. This is where StreamLabs has a huge advantage. I can stream to Twitch, Kick, and TikTok at the same time in their respective layouts. The sources that they do have work every time, and you can customize them quite well in the StreamLabs dashboard. A separate dashboard to the console one. It passes on the stream label every time to Twitch, which is something LightStream actually failed at on more than one occasion. So, a point there to StreamLabs. A stylish capability that StreamLabs has that LightStream doesn't have is transitions between scenes. If you're someone who has several scenes, then this is a welcome and slick addition. I personally stick to the one scene at the minute, as I found it a bit of a chore switching between them on LightStream. But once I create some more, I may make use of this feature. So who would I recommend? It should be no surprise, but I'd recommend LightStream each and every time. It's more stable, is much more extensible, more customizations, and allows slightly better quality streams. However, despite this, if the following two things are true, then you will have to use StreamLabs. 1. You have to stream to TikTok. 2. You are below 1,000 followers on TikTok or unable to get a streaming token. Ironically, I fall into that category, and I'm sticking with StreamLabs until I can get away from it. That, or take the plunge, buy a capture card, and start streaming via OBS. But I'd still need a streaming token on TikTok for that to work. If you've enjoyed this video, it would really help if you could like, follow, or subscribe. Thanks.